Alrighty everyone, welcome back. We are now in the last couple days of February of 2023 before we get over to March 1st, which is going to be the day of the Mandalorian Season 3's debut by Jon and Dave, to really kind of propel fans and give them a nice piece of motivation to stay connected with the franchise, because Jon Favreau has been teasing a lot of things that there's a lot of shocking surprises coming our way in Mando Season 3 and especially with Mando Season 4 as well. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that, of course, Disney is aiming to bring Star Wars back to the theaters, both in the forms of trilogies and one-off films as well, that's going to basically be the old strategy, except revamped. We know that that was the original plan by Disney, to have a trilogy movie coordinate with a one-off film. Now, when you look at everything related to this, we know that Bob Iger is putting together a full slate of Star Wars movies as we speak, multiple trilogies, multiple one-off films. Basically now the plan by Disney is to completely restructure the roadmap of the franchise, to have a lot of movies coming out with the shows being more of a supplement to kind of fill in the gaps. That's the overall plan right now. So, on top of all of this, we know that Bob Iger is trying to leave a footprint in pop culture to really make Star Wars as best as possible under his wing, to kind of get the credit for that, obviously. And that's, I believe, why he's letting Jon and Dave do whatever they have to do to bring Star Wars back in action. So that brings us to the next big thing here about Bob Iger and what he is doing with a new series of films, one of which is already in the early development phase. Now, of course, that Disney and Lucasfilm are preparing to create a full slate of Star Wars movies. Bob Iger and the higher-ups have been creating a very expansive plan to bring Star Wars back to theaters again. Now, one of which planned is an Old Republic trilogy that is currently in development that is set to feature many A-list actors and actresses with some unknowns in the mix. However, it's noted that one of the big plans of the first film is set to feature actor Keanu Reeves as a Sith Lord that is planned to be more villainous than Palpatine himself in the upcoming project. With Favreau and Filoni set as co-writers, they already have modeled Darth Vitiate's character on Keanu Reeves' appearance, and that this is the big plan to make Reeves the emperor of his time in the upcoming films. Many pieces of storyboards have already been created for the first Old Republic film that features a quick origin story of Darth Vitiate jumping from body to body using the essence transfer technique. So let me just stop here for a second. A lot of you out there may have no idea in the world what the Old Republic really is. Now, I'm sure a lot of you do, but there's always going to be some fans that are going to be like, what in the world is the Old Republic? If you are listening right now, and if you are one of those people, check out the Old Republic cinematics. Just go ahead and look it up. It's almost like a movie of its own, and it really does go to show you how well it could be crafted if adapted into live-action form correctly by Jon, Dave, and other creators out there. Now, the thing about Keanu Reeves is that there was always this fan cast to make him Darth Revan, and as of right now, that is not the case. Under Disney's wing, they are planning to make him Darth Vitiate, the Emperor of the Old Republic era, basically, and that's their overall game plan right now, with themselves being very flexible and open. If they want to change up his character, they can go ahead and do that. That is something that Jon and Dave are looking into. By the way, guys, Jon and Dave are very well known for actually making fan casts into a reality. We already know that they looked at fans asking for Rosario Dawson to become Ahsoka Tano, and they did that. That was probably the biggest fan cast that they ever did, and I even remember way before The Mandalorian Season 1, everybody was asking, or at least a good chunk, was asking for Katie Sackhoff to become Bo-Katan. And we know that Katie is a Star Wars fan, and she would always talk about Bo-Katan prior to getting the role, and there was a group of fans that wanted her really bad to become Bo-Katan, and Jon and Dave listened. So they are doing this all the time. They even actually have preliminary plans to make Sebastian Stan into a live-action version of Luke for some of the action sequences that really can't quite be perfected in fast motion when it comes to CG and deepfake technology just yet, and they may need a fill-in for some shots to become more realistic. That's the overall backup plan there. So that too, by the way, was something driven by fans, to get Sebastian Stan as Luke, and John and Dave have listened multiple times. So, on top of this, alright, now the last host body is set to be Keanu Reeves' design for the character, and that John and Dave will be changing some things around for his design from the game's cinematics. Emperor Vitiate in the storyboards is said to have thick red Sith armor, and will be wielding a new type of lightsaber blade this time around, where the blade itself is said to be curved. Not to be confused with the hilt, the actual blade is curved, to mimic and to become an homage of samurai swords. Keanu's design of the character is said to give him a gray beard and silver hair, much like in the BioWare cinematics. Now, Favreau and Filoni are also said to be open to changing his character choice to somebody else if need be, as they are fully aware everyone wants him to be Darth Revan, and it's something that they are looking into. And here's another reminder, is that the first film will actually involve a side story of Darth Revan. We've talked about this. It's going to feature many different Sith characters placed throughout different times in the Old Republic. So that's just the first film alone that's going to have multiple characters in there. So far, based on the notes, it's going to involve Darth Vitiate, Zana, Bane, Revan, and Malgus. 5 characters so far for the first film that's going to alternate between different years and how each of the characters affect other characters' lives across space and time. It's an interesting format, and Disney's putting it all together as fast as they can to get things rolling. They do know that Keanu is backed up with John Wick Chapter 5, so they got to figure out some of the scheduling for that, but they are finding many different avenues on how they can really make this all happen for the fandom across the board. So, like I say, this in specific, the fact that they want to adapt Vitiate into the form of live action, I think is a great move. Do I think that Keanu would be a better fit for Revan? Probably yes, but they are open to changing his character, so let's hope they do something like that. But so far right now, Keanu is planned to be Darth Vitiate, the Sith Emperor, basically, of the Old Republic, in, of course, this new trilogy that's being crafted. Now, this is actually going to be a very dark and gritty trilogy. They've already looked at Matt Reeves to potentially be the main writer of the actual movies, with John and Dave being co-writers. That's another big one that they're looking at. But overall, they need to do better. They need to do some amazing stuff, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day, right? So overall, if they can focus on quality instead of just, making very poor character choices or poor storylines, I think that these films are really going to resonate very well with a lot of fans around the globe. So anyways, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you guys have to say about all of this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them all again.